Hello. Can you hear me, Bruiser? You know, we always got to start with the can you hear me's. Bruiser.
Sorry. Yeah, I can't hear you.
I was about to say, I never know if you're joking. Hi, Kayla. Kayla, you're on mute too. How you doing, Bruiser? Good to have you back.
Yeah, I'm cool. Thanks for having me. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Kayla, you're on mute.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm ripping and running and doing a lot of things. Trying to get my life together. But
your sound is good. Your video is good.
Mm-hmm. Video's good. All right. How's everyone feeling this evening?
Great. Really excited here.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you guys are feeling excited. we are going to jump right into it. You guys make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Get into it. Support the channel. Support our show. We have quite a few things to talk about tonight. Okay. So, I mean, I want to get you guys' perspective on this most recent thing. This thing just dropped today. A little bit of a situation between Leigh and Kendra G. You know, we've talked about Kendra G before. We've talked about her before. Y'all remember?
What did we talk about?
I don't remember, but we talked about her.
Okay.
We talked about her. She's the one that has that dating show that where people call. Jay Prince went on there. Well, people call in with the most ridiculous things you've heard in your life.
Oh, we did talk. I don't remember what we talked about. Yeah.
I don't know where she finds these people, but that's her. She's that girl. On WGCI. Yeah. So that's her. And she I'm gonna just play the clip. So we can see what she said. Okay. So I'm gonna play the clip.
Okay. There we go.
Is the sound on?
Should be.
Person of the Day award goes to Leigh, and let me tell you why. Leigh is in the city of Chicago. I don't know why. Probably got a high school appearance. Who the hell knows? But she was set to do an interview with the morning show, and she requested that I, Kendra G, be removed from the interview because she was uncomfortable talking to me. Girlfriend, this ain't wilding out. You ain't gonna be Simone me. Now your whole interview has been canceled. But I'm trying to figure out, why didn't you want to talk to me in the first place? I actually been on the radio defending your honor. I really felt the way when your baby daddy played you on that infamous IG Live, and I defended you on the radio. Now, shout out to B. Simone, who I know in real life, rock with in real life, but I actually understood why you didn't want to do Wild 'N Out with her. But I'm still trying to figure out why the hell you ain't want to talk to me. Now, are you nervous? I'm going to ask you the questions that need to be asked. Like, are you still sleeping with your baby daddy after he beat your brother up and played you on the IG Live? And you know what? I probably would have asked you that question because I need to know. Because if you forgave him, that means I need to forgive him. Are you nervous I was going to bring up that whack-ass Jellabone song? Girlfriend, I don't care. You can make a song about your skin tone and celebrate it. I love being a dark-skinned woman. Ain't no whack-ass song like that going to make me insecure about my complexion. Are you nervous that I was going to ask you, like, how did it feel to be a girlfriend thinking you was better than all the baby mamas just to become a baby mama and get treated worse? And you know what, Leigh? I probably would have asked you all those questions because guess what? That's my job. That's what I do. I ask the questions that the people want to know. Maybe you should focus on your job, be in the studio and make a hit, and we got to talk about your music and not about your personal life. That's not my fault.
Okay, so is it me? Or would I not have done that interview as well? I'm coming on the show to talk about my music. And this is what you want to talk about. And this is what you want to say. And this is how you want to do things. But you don't understand why I don't want to be there? Why I don't want you at the interview? Because it's your job. Your job is supported by artists like her. People don't just listen to you guys to listen to you guys. They listen to you guys because you guys provide content on the people that we look at in entertainment, whether it's actors, artists, music, whatever it is. Like, that is being in media. That is being in radio. Like, I don't know. I just personally thought this was just like proved Danny's point on why she didn't want to do the interview with Kendra. Like, you can't get mad because she didn't want that negative energy. Just because you feel like it's your job, that has nothing to do with how she feels and what she wants in her life and in her presence and in her energy. And on top of that, she's also a public figure. So for me as a journalist, I can't identify with this because all journalists know that in real journalism, there are like questions and things like that someone's team will tell you they're not going to answer. They'll tell you questions that you cannot ask. That, like, you know what I mean? Like, but when for some reason it's turned into people feeling like interviews are now you feeling like you can gossip to me and throw stuff that you've seen on the internet in my face and what it's just, I just don't like this. Sorry, Kendra, I don't like it.
Was Kendra's response based, like the way she responded, was that based solely on the woman saying that she didn't want to?
Yeah, solely on her team saying that she didn't mind doing the morning radio show or the evening ride home show, but she just didn't want Kendra to be there. I think it was 3 or 4 different hosts, and she just would prefer if Kendra wasn't there because she makes her feel uncomfortable. I don't understand the problem. She's the talent. She's the one coming in to do interviews. She's on a press tour all around the country right now. So I feel like it's more Kendra being in her ego, because why do you care this much?
So
why do you care that much to need to be in her interview if she didn't want you there?
Other than those 2 females, who else was supposed to be on the show?
Doing the interview, the other people on the morning show. I don't live in Chicago. Who listens to WGCI? I know Charmaine's on WGCI. Shout out to my Howard Boo and Neek. Shout out to them. I do know them. They're awesome. But
it was supposed to be the WGCI, like all of them
all of them that are on. I don't know. I just know the people that are on the morning show. I don't know. There's 3 people total, I think. But let us know in the chat. I don't remember. But
yeah, let me know, because
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. If someone says they don't want to engage in a particular way because of certain reasons, and you just came and prove the reasons why you don't want to engage. I want to talk about my music. I want to talk about my new album. I want to talk about my new tour. And you want to talk about my baby daddy. You want to talk about, this song, like stuff from years and years ago, when I want to talk about what's current. And so to me, she just proved Danny's point. Anyone in the chat that has a problem with it, that's because y'all don't have boundaries. Okay. You don't have to be around people you don't want to be around. You don't have to accept certain energy you don't want to accept. And talk about now the whole interview got canceled. It's kind of like, okay, Kendra, I get it. But what would the station be if artists stopped coming to interview there, period? Like, that's not, you know what I mean? It's like, that's just my opinion. What do you guys think?
So I knew Leon Rogers was on there and Kendra G, but I had to look up who the other person was. It's Kyle. So, I've heard that show a few times, on the way to work or something like that. And I don't know. I guess, it's up to the person being interviewed if they are going to do the interview or not, or if they want to be asked certain questions or not. I would not see an issue if, let's say, we ask somebody to come on this show, and I know that this show is not like as big as that show, but let's say that we ask somebody to come on this show and they were just like, no, I don't feel comfortable for whatever reason. I would just be like, okay. I don't see the reason to be upset. And I think that what you just said about like the response proving the point, was true, because why? That's why I thought maybe they had some other type of, argument or something before this. Or like, I didn't know if this was her response, like her response being like that was based solely on.
It was solely on that. They didn't have any beef. Like she said, they didn't have any beef. She supported her, whatever.
So
I don't know. I just feel like
maybe she could have said.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Maybe she could have just said. Maybe she just should have said she wasn't going to do the interview at all.
Well, I mean, that's what she said. She said if Kendra is going to do the interview, then she's not going to do it.
But
so,
if
because Kendra had an issue with that, then they didn't do the interview at all.
Well,
so here's where I'm confused.
Somebody can't like come to our show and be like, Kayla can't be there.
If someone came to our show and said, yeah, but our show, we are the talent. We're not a radio station where we're interviewing artists. We're throwing concerts for people to hear artists. We're playing artists' music. We're not the radio.
Okay, yeah, I can get that.
We are the talent on our show, and that's totally different. And guests that come in, they come in to add value, but the show is us, and it's always been us. And it started with, well, people coming in and out, whatever. But, it's just different. Like when you're in a radio space, at the end of the day, their bread and butter is the viewership, the listenership, the amount of money people will pay to advertise based on that viewership and listenership. So it's I mean, I guess Kendra, people like Kendra that much in Chicago. Let me know, okay? Is Kendra like a local celebrity? Because I didn't know. I knew she was a big journalist. I didn't know if she's like a local celebrity where people like.
I don't know. I know her from the morning show, and I know like in these spaces, like in the group for the show, and in these spaces, people say things, to talk about her. I've never seen like a full episode of her show, but I have heard her in the morning. So,
but is that morning show her show, or she just on it?
She's on it.
Right. So it's not her show. She has her own show. Yes. But that morning show is not her show. She's a co-host, a panelist on that show.
I mean, just business-wise, and I don't know, this is definitely like above my level of business as it relates to like podcasts and radio shows, because obviously like Kendra G has been in, these spaces and doing this for way longer than I have. So like she knows better than I do in terms of many things relating to this. But just looking at it and just thinking about it, like from an outsider's point of view, I think that I would have just said, can we discuss things that are off limits? Would that, be okay? If we can discuss things that are off limits and then we still do the interview, no problem. It's a win-win. The interview still happens, and then she's okay with, she feels comfortable interviewing with Kendra.
Well, if that's something that she felt that people can stick to, because as we've seen over the last like 10 years, journalism's not what it was anymore. You don't even have to study journalism at all to be a journalist and go report on stuff and start talking about stuff. You don't have to have any kind of credentials. So the old times where it could be like, you could only ask certain questions a certain way. That's how it used to be. And now people go on interviews and they say, oh, these are the questions beforehand. And then the interview asks, people get in the interview and people still ask other questions that weren't on the list. That's just how it is now. And that's why people do major media training now, because they have to figure out how to stick and dodge and move some of these questions that they don't want to answer and things they don't want to talk about when I'm here to promote my new movie or my new song or my new album. Y'all want to talk about gossip. Y'all want to talk about blogs. Y'all want to talk about the shade room. You know what I mean? Instead of what I'm here to promote. And if it's not done properly, it could actually make the person who's the talent look worse than to help them. You know what I mean? So if it's going to be a messy environment, the best thing that you could do is actually not do it and not say anything, but to put yourself in a position for someone to attack you. If Kendra was going to do with her like she just did in that video, I just wouldn't do it either. Like I don't see the purpose of that. Danny's on tour. She's trying to promote her tour.
So here's my question. They said they canceled the interview altogether, right? Because the girl didn't want to be on there with Kendra. So this suggests that her and Kendra must have some history, right?
No, they don't have any history. Kendra is just known for being messy.
Is that how again, I don't know much about her shows, like her other show that she does, the podcast. So is that typically how it goes? Like someone will come on there and a bunch of questions will get asked. Like what is the format? Because the clips that I've seen, like I saw the clip with Jay Prince in it, and I saw one with some lady that had really long
That's
eyelashes.
Her personal show, though. That's not the morning show that's live on the radio. That's her personal show she does like on her YouTube or her Instagram or Facebook or something.
So that show, which one is the one that you think is messy? Because I don't know.
No, I'm just saying her in general, her style. She's always trying to get to the nitty gritty of like the gossip and the tea and the drama. At least that's what I see from her.
I thought that was called something else.
What?
Getting the truth. Getting it from the horse's mouth.
I get that. I get it. But if you like Bruiser, you have your new R&B album coming out, and we invite you onto our show, and we're like, you know what? You can promote your show, your album here. We're going to talk about that. But then we're like, wait, before we get into it, what's really going on with, all these other things? I don't know. I just think that all these problems could be avoided if there's a conversation beforehand about what is off limits and what's not.
If people will stick to it, I think most people would agree to that. But people don't stick to it. They get on live and they do different things. So, I mean, that's just is what it is. But shout out to Dr. Umar School in the chat, said everyone out here trying to be Wendy Williams. And I swear that's what it is. Everybody wants to be Wendy now that Wendy is gone. Wendy is the one where when you go to Wendy, you go there for gossip. You know that. You go there for shit talking. That's Wendy. That's who Wendy was on the radio. And I think everybody's trying to be Wendy. And so it's just like, get to the jugular, instead of like, what is most progressive? But I guess, people are like, well, isn't that her job? Isn't that her job? Views, ratings. I get it, but you can't get upset because somebody doesn't want to participate in it. You know what I mean? Even if she said she didn't want to do it and then the interview got canceled, keep it moving. What was the need for you to make this video, Kendra?
Well, it seemed like the girl singled her out, saying she didn't want to do the interview because of this person.
Well, why do you care? Do you think if someone said they didn't want to go on the Wendy Williams show because they don't like how catty she is, Wendy's going to do a whole video about them? She's not.
But I mean, why think about it.
If they don't want to.
You asking for a response when you say, I don't want to be on the show because of this person, instead of, hey, look, something came up. I'm not able to make the show. You wanted that person.
So you feel like she should have finessed out of it.
You didn't want to be on this show and this show getting shut down, and you made a statement saying it's because of you. You wanted that person to feel it like, yeah, motherfucker, your shit just got canceled because I said I didn't want to be on it because of you.
It's not going to affect her check, though. It's not going to affect her check or her money or anything. It's not going to affect anything.
But it affected her time, and that's more important than anything in the world.
Affected her time not working, so she get mad because somebody wanted her to take the morning off.
Gotta think, Kayla. It affected her time. What did she do? She set up her camera. She put on her makeup. She put on her hair. She put on her audio. She put on the show. She put a video up. She did an upload. How much time do you think it took out of her day to do that?
Kendra, that was a lot.
She had to go and do research on the girl's brother, beating up her baby daddy and all this other shit. She had to get her talking points right.
So that's content. That's what it is. It's just content.
Kendra G felt it. When you respond like that, you can see the passion in her voice.
Yeah, she was clearly pissed.
She was triggered for real. So the person who was it Danny Leigh?
Danny Leigh.
She got a W. She said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say I don't want to be on this show because of this motherfucker right here. And how much you want to bet? She probably laughing with her girls like, this bitch going to post a video about me. Oh, excuse my language. This girl going to post a video about me. That goes our background. I think I needed, since I'm going to be on this show, can we change it to like a blue?
Blue?
No, I'm just kidding.
We can change it to like green. That's non-binary.
Colors
change it to green.
Gender neutral.
No, what was I gonna say? Ambiguous? Not ambiguous. Androgynous.
But you feel what I was saying though, right?
About you said the woman came out on top. Danny Leigh.
Of course.
She got under Kendra's skin.
Of course.
See, I just think I think it's so weird. And I don't know if that was her feeling. This is just, Bruiser, I know this is just your opinion on it. But like when people feel like they've won, and this goes for either in this conversation, because I don't know how either of them was feeling. Well, kind of know how Kendra was feeling based on the video we saw. But anyone who, I don't know, whenever people think they've won because someone else like doesn't want to be around them or talk to them, or like even in terms of social media, people will be like, so-and-so blocked me, I win. Like, what? Like, how is that a win? I don't understand. Again, communication is key. And I really think they could have had the interview if they would have just
No,
talked.
they couldn't have. Because Kendra wouldn't have agreed to that. And even if she did, she wouldn't have kept her word. She would have did what she wanted to do, which is be messy.
Have
And
you
like,
seen that happen before?
Yes.
Oh, I don't
And
know.
I just feel like you don't have to subject yourself to that. I am currently in the public eye, and I have interview requests and things of that nature. And there are certain people that I'm not gonna interview with because I already know what they're trying to do, and I'm not gonna do it.
And then some of those people might be like, I wanted to interview Kayla, but she ran because she's scared. Ha ha ha. And that like gives them a little boost of confidence to think.
Oh my God. I hope they cheers champagne at the end of their night. They're so confident and so excited.
So y'all stated that this show does not belong to Kendra G, right?
Say it again.
There are multiple.
She doesn't own the show. She doesn't make the calls on who can be on the show and what happens on the show, right? Whoever was in charge of the show, instead of having a show, I guess the girl Donnie Leigh wasn't adding enough value for them to pull Kendra from the show and continue the show. Because me personally, if it's gonna add value to the station or the morning show, then I'll be like, hey Kendra, we gonna need you to sit this interview out. But that wasn't the case, so she wasn't valuable enough to do that. I mean, what do y'all think?
You know, I think that they all bring value to the show. So
no, I mean Donnie Leigh. I mean, she's like she's not like regular on the show. She's like an artist.
Oh, you're saying, I get it.
Yeah,
you're saying
she's an artist that's on a press tour. She's not a regular person. She's going city to city doing shows and interviews and press.
Bruiser, are you saying that like if LeBron James was like, hey Kendra, we need you to sit out, they would have been like, Kendra, sit out, versus someone like this person? I keep saying this person. What is her? How do you say her name again?
Donnie Leigh. We've said it several times.
I heard of her before when we did the thing about the baby or whatever, but like I've never heard of this woman outside of this show and that show. Like so I just keep mispronouncing her name. But yeah, Bruiser, is that what you're saying? That if there was a more quote unquote valuable person, that they would have said, hey, Kendra, sit out?
Of course. I mean, come on, that's an understatement. Especially using LeBron out of all people. Come on now.
Some teams stick together.
No, hell no. It's all about the money at the end of the day.
But it is all about the bottom line. But I also think that because it's about the bottom line, I guess I'm the only one that can understand this because of my current situation. But like, people only care about their bottom line. They don't care about how it affects you, if it traumatized you, whatever. These things with her baby daddy is probably still very traumatic for her and a soft spot for her. And for y'all to want to capitalize on her emotional despair and then say she's wrong for not wanting to do it, I just can't rock with it. I can't get with it because there's things that I don't want to talk about for my own mental, emotional health. And y'all can't get mad at me and say, oh, whatever with me, because I don't want to discuss it. For you to get clicks, for you to make money, way more money than you paying me to be here. Way more money. So no, fuck that.
That's a good segue. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a great segue.
It is. I
can't wait till YouTube ban that word.
Ban what word?
Segue. We can't.
Segue. No, I can't wait until they ban disingenuous. Okay. Anyway, you want to show the super chats before we go on into our main topic, I guess, which is the longest thing we're going to talk about tonight, and I will be in and out. But we will drop the link soon and try to get, because this is literally viral. So I'm sure a lot of people have things to say about this, right? Do we have any content for this? Oh yeah, super chats first.
Thank you, Robin M, for the $9.99. It says, Kayla, you are being disingenuous about Donnie Leigh and Kendra, about the Donnie Leigh and Kendra G situation. Danny is not a mainstream artist. No one cares about her music. They have to talk about stuff that draws listeners.
You're absolutely right. They do. But she doesn't have to subject herself to their vitriol for their dollars and their money that she's not going to get even close to 10% of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What song did she make? Is there one that's on the radio or something, or like?
I mean, she had that the one with Chris Brown, "Take It Easy," and then she had, I mean, her one that she blew up with. But "Take It Easy" is probably like the most mainstream one because it was like one of her biggest songs with Chris Brown.
She got some really, really good music.
She has great music.
Whoever said that she didn't is, I don't know what the hell kind of style of music they listen to, but I like 3 songs on her album she made. It's called My Side. One of them is called Dead to Me. You got Heartbreaker and then Call Me Out My Name. I like those songs.
Okay, Bruce.
I like Dead to Me too. Dead to Me is good.
Yeah, Dead to Me is tough. I think that's one of my favorite ones right there.
That's a good one.
I don't know whoever was the DJ. It's just I always go for the beat, and then if you can put the lyrics together and the sound of the voice together on it smooth, I can rock with that.
Okay, just to address Robin M in the chat, and let me pull up the lyrics right now. I don't even know. I'm not gonna pull them up. I don't have time. Robin M, if you want to show that comment, who says, Kayla, cry me a river. She's not a victim. She made a whole colorist song targeting women that look like you. Wake up. Okay, so when Pop Smoke made that song, Light Skin, was that a colorist song? Was he being colorist because he talked about light skins in his song? Y'all don't have no problem with that song. And then when he made the song that was just about chocolate girls, does he say he didn't like light skins because he made a song about chocolate girls? I don't understand. If I'm chocolate and I made a song like he like all this chocolate, am I coming at light skin girls? Help me understand what's colorist for her to make a song about her skin complexion. Help me. Because if I made a song like that, you light skin girls can't get mad at me. How can y'all get mad at me?
Y'all talk like light skin and dark skin girls is a separate race.
I'm gonna have to listen to this song. I've seen some comments of people mentioning, that, and I've last time when we talked about her, I think it was on our show, Kayla, a long time ago. People were mentioning that song, and I meant to listen to it back then. That was like a year ago, but I need to listen because what is the context? What is being said? What's being said about light skin?
I didn't hear her say anything bad about other skin. I just heard her big up her skin. And I didn't hear shots fired at anyone in the song. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me look up the goddamn lyrics. No, we're not doing that. We don't have time. I just want to address that really fast. But yeah, anyway.
Well, it's different when the group that is seen by society as the preferred group makes
songs like that.
Like that's why people don't say like white power, but you can say black power and it's not seen as racist, Yeah. I think it might be that same concept where, I don't know. I think that's a nuanced conversation because I get where that comes from and why people have those views about that, because when the preferred group says certain things, some people take it as, take it a certain way. So I definitely understand that. But again, I've never heard this song. I never heard any of the song. Bruiser and Kayla, thank you for the recommendations. I will
look into that.
Yeah. Someone said light skin is not the preferred group. Why do we always have to do this?
Sir, don't do this.
Just look. I mean, there are literally studies on this. Like, people have researched this. Go do some reading about that. Okay. So we're moving into the next topic.
So yes, moving into the next topic. Your boy, Mr. Joe Budden. Joe Budden Podcast. Shout out to Joe Budden Podcast. I always loved Joe Budden podcast when it first came on. It made podcasting, right? However, as we all know on podcasting, people get to talking about their lives. And sometimes that gets them a little bit caught up. Got me feeling it, caught up. Don't know what it is. So, Joe Budden basically said that he has pretended, let me just quote him because I don't want to get sued. Even I've walked in the corner and fake like I was putting on a condom before, but instead with a laugh. That should be working. They're not the wiser. He added, yes, I did, 1000%. That was my poor execution of my plan after I mastered it, which was just to bust through the lambskin. Let me go find the thinnest condom in the world and bust through it. When one of his co-hosts called him a sicko, Budden replies, nah, I used to be. Please don't misrepresent me. According to the Shade Room, that episode was later removed and a new episode was uploaded with no audio.
So he got censored.
I think he might have been, his team or whatever was probably trying to get him out of hot water. I don't think it was censorship. I think it was more so that you're admitting to something that is literally a crime in some places. And his team was probably like, the thing is, that's horrible. That's horrible. Like, I don't even know what else to say about that.
Well, that's just very dangerous. For me, it's just very dangerous. We're going to drop the link in the chat because maybe y'all have some more information. It's very dangerous.
When
it's sexual assault.
Is it sexual assault?
It's sexual assault.
Is there any sources that confirm that is sexual assault? Because I read something different.
I think in California it's considered that, but I think there's like a bill. I don't know, but I can see this becoming a law in more places. But I think somebody in the chat, if y'all are looking it up, let me know. I think that right now it's against the law in California.
Yeah, it's against the law in California, and it's a civil matter, not like a Supreme Court matter or Superior Court matter or whatever. I mean, not Supreme Court.
Well, there is one. I don't know if it went to the Superior Court, but I know there is a case.
There's no law statutes. There's no divine legal statutes that support.
Is there not though?
No,
you can
just sue somebody for it, and then you gotta prove that it was offensive to you.
It's not offensive. It's assault because you're putting my life at risk.
I looked it up. It's nothing.
No, there's actually a lawsuit out there for someone that removed the condom during sex without the person knowing.
I don't know where it's at, but
there is a suit out there about that. There is a lawsuit.
Wait, Bruiser, do you think that this behavior is okay? Like, why are you even?
You're not gonna set me up. My shit gonna be taken down.
Bruiser, if you're saying that, it's nothing wrong. If you're saying that, why are you talking about it's a setup? You obviously think something is wrong about it. Then
did I say it was a setup?
You just said you're not gonna set me up.
I said you're not gonna set me up to say something that could incriminate me in any kind of way.
Why would it incriminate you if there was nothing wrong?
Oh, goodness.
You see how you're proving the point?
I got to be careful with my words. Is Kay trying to pull out something that's not even
No, it's because I'm trying to get you to see. If you're saying you don't want to be incriminated by even mentioning this, then obviously you agree with us that it's wrong.
I agree. I agree that removing your condom without consent of the person that you have sex with, I believe that's wrong because you could spread sexual transmitted disease and
that could kill you.
Yeah, and you can get somebody pregnant. So I agree with that. But I do think there's a double standard. I Did Cardi B stuff get taken down when she said she used to drug people and all this other shit?
Where did she say that on the podcast? Where did she say that?
I don't know if it was on a podcast.
Did she drug people with drugs? I don't know that. You got to give me the background on that. I don't know the background on that. But did she drug people with drugs that they already do, or were these like quaaludes, or what was happening?
Quaaludes.
I'm gonna have to pull it up. My understanding, she was putting pills in the man's drink, and they were robbing him, taking his money and all this stuff. And
oh wow,
I think
it's called stealthing. If you can go to prison for it,
somebody in the chat can help me. I think you can go to prison in many places. I want to know what many places is, because the only place I heard anything about it was California. But somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. There's word going around saying that she used. I think she actually stated out her mouth that she took advantage of people and took their money and stuff, and also had like
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly had gay people come in there or you know what I'm saying, and do what they. I don't know, man. I'm gonna get back to you on that one. Give me like 5 minutes. Do some accurate research before I start spewing out the wrong information.
Well, in the meantime, everybody, I need some men to go ahead and come up on the panel, because we have to get into conversation about this. I need you guys to come up here, because men, are y'all doing this? Is this something that y'all do? Because the as casual as this kind of came up, it made it seem like this is something people do. Or like the fact that he felt like no shame, like he was acting like it was like his whole phase or something. Like, I'm not that person anymore, I don't do that anymore. Like as if this was something that people do, or like this is something that's acceptable. So the link is in the chat. Come on up here. Don't be scared. Let your voice be heard. I just want to know what y'all think about this.
Why wouldn't he? I mean, I don't know. Like, why? Like, I get, maybe one might prefer it one way versus another, but why would you feel the need to do that? I don't understand. Like, wouldn't you feel guilty? Like, I don't know.
Feel guilty about what?
Saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go right over here, be right back," and then you come back and you just didn't even do that. Like, I'm trying to, I have students. I don't like to say certain things, but just, why would you feel okay about doing that? I think that's really strange. Oh, Kayla. Oh, Kayla, you're in the back twice. Okay. Are you about to play something?
I'm trying to fix it.
Okay.
Okay, so there's an article on BBC News that headline that says Cardi B, why I drugged and robbed men. I would probably have to go into depth because I don't like putting out bullshit information about people. But I think it was because she worked as a stripper, and I think it was men who wanted to have sex with her and stuff. So, yeah.
Oh, Kayla. Okay.
That probably was a retaliation type thing. So it probably was.
What are you talking about? What's retaliation? The thing that you're saying about Cardi B allegedly?
Yeah. So it appears in that article. I didn't read all of it, but it appears she was retaliating from somebody trying to rape her. And to get back at him, she's robbed.
I mean, hi, Smoke.
Hey, what's up?
Great to have you back. Haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, it has. I've been trying to go to bed earlier, so and I'm on Eastern Standard Time, so when y'all go to like 1 a.m. at your place, like 2 a.m. at my place, so
Look, we've been trying to live our lives differently, ending a lot earlier than we typically do. So
I
Yeah.
can see that. I'm surprised you even dropped the link this early. I thought I'd have to be on here another 2 hours.
See, we trying to, you see, we trying to, get people up here so
Yep.
that the show can end a little bit earlier than usual.
Yep.
What's up? What are your thoughts on anything we've talked about so far?
Well, first, the Kendra G Cardi B stuff. I barely know who Kendra G is, honestly, but from your convo, it sounds like this Kendra G person is an interviewer, and then Danny Leigh didn't want to come on her thing. I mean, I guess it's shitty if Danny Leigh agreed to come on. And
Come on, get up washing those dishes. What are you doing?
No, oh, sorry. I'm cooking chicken. I'm cooking my dinner right now. Can I flip my thing around? Maybe I can see it. Hold up. Yeah, there. I'm cooking.
Okay, Chimoge, I'm about to make you solo layout. What are you cooking?
Oh, okay. I'm cooking chicken breast. So
Okay.
yeah.
Looks good. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you.
Need to cook you some
I'm not,
veggies.
I'm not the fanciest chef, but I can get the job done. At least when I can get the job done in general. It's just that if it's not meat, it kind of really, and it's complicated to cook, it kind of annoys me. But it is what it is.
So about these topics, what were some of your thoughts?
So hold on 1 second. Somebody just shout out to Malevolent Elephant. So yeah, it is a civil crime. You can sue, but there's nothing about going to jail. The bill is in Congress, and they are trying to make it a real crime. So I don't know how long they've been doing that for, but
yeah, I knew it was a bill. And like Malevolent said, like California is the only state I heard of it in. But I mean, times are. I think it's coming. Like
yeah. I think they're gonna make the stealthing illegal in more places.
Yeah,
My
I think
opinion on it is that it's obviously terrible. I wouldn't say it's sexual assault, just because I think for it to be sexual assault, you have to not consent to the sexual encounter. But that consent is like the bare minimum for sex to be like good. I think where people get tripped up is like when they hear someone say it's consensual, then they think, oh, that means it's good. It's like, nah, that's the fucking bare minimum. Like, just because you consented to sex doesn't mean it's automatically good. And in this case, I would just say it's one of those things where it's not sexual assault, but it's probably like one of the worst sexual things you can do just below that. You see what I mean? So I don't necessarily, when it comes to the U.S. criminal justice system, since it's not justice, I don't want them to add more crimes in general, just because they're going to apply it wrong, and then they're going to get people caught up in their system and just brutalize people. They're not going to make it better. But in a society where the justice system was actually just, I wouldn't mind it being made a crime at all. I wouldn't say it's as bad as sexual assault, but it's still egregious, and it does have to be addressed for sure. I think someone who goes around doing that, this needs to be separated from people and get like counseling, because that's.
So you want to know why it's a civil suit and it's so difficult in so many years it hasn't become a true crime.
Well, I think.
You want to know why? Because it's really hard to make a law. It's really hard to build a case on someone's word and say, "Hey, look, he took his condom off."
I mean,
really.
I mean, that doesn't mean it shouldn't be made illegal, though. Like, there are lots of crimes that are hard to prove, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't be. Because if we're being real, right? Like, if you look at the clearance rate for crimes, which is just the degree to which they solve the case, it's low across the board. Like, even sexual assault, we know so many of those cases don't get solved, but the clearance rate for those is actually higher than any crime other than homicide. If you look at the clearance rate for, like, robbery, it's low as hell. Like, if you get robbed, you're probably never going to get justice.
So let's do this. How do you pronounce your name, sir? Shimoge. So let's do this. Okay, so you're the legislator. You just made approval of it being a law illegal to remove your condom during sex, right?
Yeah.
Let's say,
and I'm just laughing because it's crazy we even need to tell people not to do that, but
let's say a woman come up to you and say, or let's say you're a judge Or no, let's just say like that you create the laws and the punishments for this crime. How would you prove? What kind of evidence would be credible to validate that
Say
this
the guy
crime
getting
actually was?
say the guy getting accused is Joe Budden, and I have audio of him saying, "Yeah, I became the master at going in the corner and pretending I was putting."
Literally.
Then you present that audio. You just do what you do to solve the crime.
The same way that they do with any other crime. I mean,
Yeah.
So what? So only audio, right? What about anything else?
I'm
Bruiser.
confused. I'm confused with the question.
That's a very. If you can say,
wait, are you saying that you don't think Joe Budden is guilty to what he literally admitted to on a podcast?
no, I'm saying is, how would you regulate the crime? How would you? What's the substantial evidence would validate that the crime actually took place?
Well,
Besides just audio.
it would be very. Okay, say there's no audio, right? You get
Yeah.
witness accounts. You get accounts of the person involved who is the victim. You get accounts from the person who allegedly perpetrated it. You talk to people they know. Maybe one of them said
word of mouth.
something. You can take physical evidence. Same as in rape cases. You could do a rape kit. I guess technically it wouldn't be a rape kit. I mean, depending on how you define it. But whatever, you do the same thing. Like there's all these things you can do. And of course, like nothing is ever going to have a 100%.
You said all these things, and it really didn't say much.
He did. What are you talking about? He literally said several things. He said you could talk to other people that the person knows. Maybe they were victims of the same thing. You can get multiple.
Yeah. Also, if there's a pattern of behavior,
you can get samples taken to see if there's anything that was left behind. I guess you could say.
Okay, so if a woman consents to sex with you, if a woman consent for you to have sex with a condom, right? And she say, yeah, you can do this. Hit it from the back. Just make sure you got your condom on. Your condom pop. She says, "Oh, you want to break up in a relationship? I'm gonna report you for stealthing."
I mean,
how do you regulate that?
People can make a false allegation about any crime.
We're talking about this one in particular. The reason why it hasn't been legal in every state. We're talking about this one in particular, though. How would you?
I'm just saying, you could, if the scenario you said happened. And by the way, I've never heard of something like that happening. But granted, people do everything. But I'm just saying, we got to acknowledge like the odds of a man winding up in trouble because of the scenario you outlined are so low, right? But like, if that happened, then it's the same as any other case.
So you're basing your
you talk to the man, you talk to the woman, and in that case, right, if that's genuinely what happened, there probably wouldn't be enough evidence to substantiate the woman's claim, so the case gets thrown out. It's just the same as anything else. And
so basically, would you agree? We just went around the avenue to come back to my point that it will be really hard to regulate this law because
No, I don't think it'll be harder than any other crime. Because again, do you think that theft should be illegal?
Well, that's what I'm trying to do is try to
No. Answer my question. Do you think theft should be illegal?
Do I think theft?
No, theft. Stealing. Stealing should be illegal.
Stealing should be illegal?
Do you think it should be illegal?
I think it is already illegal.
No, but do you think it should be?
It should be.
Yeah, I think it's justified to have it
illegal. Okay, well, look up the clearance rate for theft cases. It's low as fuck. I think it might even be lower than 20%. So it's really hard to prove, it seems, that someone stole something from you.
But it's still illegal.
But you could regulate it.
What do you mean by that?
What?
You can make a determination on you can easily make a determination on whether this car belongs to this person.
No, but the evidence seems to suggest otherwise, right? Again, like the clearance rate for rape cases is higher than the clearance rate for theft.
This has no comparison on stealthing at all.
How?
Bruiser, you're not seeing the analogy here. He's basically saying that if your argument is about how hard it is to prove a crime, that it makes no sense.
It ain't even about. It's not even about this. Like the only proof you could have, besides if you record, like even if you record,
that's the same for a lot of crimes, Bruiser.
Yeah.
If I say somebody, if you say somebody,
the comparison he made, stealing is like no. I can see if he chose a different crime, but that one in particular, there's no comparison at all.
Bruiser,
No,
it's the same for somebody any crime that you don't record. You could say somebody hit you. Assault is illegal. Should somebody say, oh, maybe not because there was no recording? No, you can still go to court. There are people that are trained to determine these things. There are, that's why there's a jury. That's why there are testimonies. That's why you get cross-examined. That's why all these different things happen.
My argument is that my argument is this thing. How do you, besides audio, like Joe Budden tricking himself up, how do you know whether the person, the victim, or the complainant, or what is it called, the plaintiff or whatever, is actually being honest in what they saying in front of a judge, saying, "Hey, look, this motherfucker took his condom off."
The same way for any other crime, the same process happens when when someone commits a crime. People come in and say
I don't believe for every crime, the same process happens for every crime. I don't believe that. I believe it's a peculiar step in a procedure based on the crime. So, like if you investigate murder, you don't investigate it the same way you would investigate. What is it called? Stealthing.
Bruiser. The thing is, you're getting into which crime is it? Think about the basis of what you were arguing about. It's hard to prove. The point that I'm making, and I think
the point it's hard to regulate it because the only thing you can go on is if somebody admit that they did it.
No,
that's like saying the only Bruiser. That's not true. That's like saying the only way to know if someone assaulted someone is if they admit they did it. That's not. You know how many people go into court and say I didn't do it about any crime you can think of?
No, think about it.
He said two things. He said audio admitting on audio.
Bruiser, I don't know if you're just saying
right?
Let me give you a scenario to outline this. Say a girl says she got stealthed. The guy denies it. However, they do a test on her. They see that his semen is on her, right? They collect evidence. Say there's video camera evidence, like security footage, that they were in the place she said they were in at the time she said. They interview all her friends. They say that at the time it happened, she told them about it. They also she's talked about personal things with her friends, and then they testify, hey, she doesn't do it with people she isn't deep in a relationship with without a condom. Then maybe some witnesses come forward and say, yeah, the guy
that's not enough substance to
women have complained about him in the past. And then the point I'm making is
not enough substance to rule out exploitation. You got to be able to rule out people being exploited. So anybody can say, oh yeah, I know this girl, she always makes
but I'm just saying, what if they interview 5 of her friends? They say
it doesn't matter. You can still rule out.
Her mom said
you cannot rule out exploitation from
No, but I'm just saying, what is the most likely explanation in that case? Say you have no one vouching for this guy. His DNA is on her. She said he did it. All her friends say he told them about it. There's security footage of them being in that location. What do you think happened most likely?
The question is whether the condom, what you're going to have to prove in court is whether the condom, because I'm sure the defendant is going to say, man, I didn't take the condom off. The bitch snapped on me.
Yeah, now but then what if everyone else says something different?
You're making my point. If everyone else is saying different, you're making my point. You can't rule out exploitation. You can be exploited. You know how many people go into court and they go to bat for the plaintiff, go to bat for the.
But I'm saying, what is the most likely explanation?
you're making my point. That's the reason why this hard to make this illegal. That's the reason why it's only
All right.
All right.
At this
Bruiser,
point, we're kind of, we just have differing opinions on this.
all right.
Chamoge, I agree with you. Bruiser,
Yeah.
you
And
have your
also,
opinion.
and can I
Let's
add in
let's
one
wait
thing?
real quick, Chamoge. Then we're gonna go to the other callers that are here.
Yeah, I
that have
think
been
the other thing I want to add, and like no shade to Bruiser, right? Agree to disagree. But just another thing I've seen with this is just like dudes online going defending it, either like outright or explicitly. And I'm just saying that we have to get to a point where we realize we don't have to defend every stupid thing some man did on the internet. Like Joe Budden is just a clown. We could just be silent. We could just criticize it and move on. It doesn't mean like, we're not gonna lose if people think Joe Budden is lame. You know what I mean? He's just one idiot. So
here's my response.
Hold on, Bruiser. Wait, because we have to get Perry and Rico in. So, we can come back around, but they haven't spoken at all. So let's, let them speak a little bit. Who wants to go first? Rico or Perry? Whoever.
I'll go.
Okay.
I say it was so much that y'all just talked about, but as far as what y'all was literally just talking about, what I think Bruiser is saying is that it's so hard to actually prove because that's a crime that they will be spending a lot of money on in the courts just to be prosecuting people. So hard because her friends could say a lot. Oh, she wouldn't do this and he wouldn't do that, but nobody knows if they weren't in the room with them. I mean, come on now. But that's small. As far as Joe Budden, I watch Budden podcast a lot. He say a lot of stuff. He say a lot of stuff jokingly, even on there to his friends, where he just be playing and it sound crazy. But then he's come out and said, "Why would y'all even believe anything that I'm saying on this podcast? Like, relax." But once you get older, I think it is a problem. You shouldn't take off your condom without somebody noticing or knowing. That's messed up. But when you're young, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if any other man here will say it, but when you're young, I believe every man has done that at their young lives. And when they were super young, not knowing any better, not trying to get somebody pregnant or not trying to give anybody any type of diseases, just not knowing any better. And of course, there are anomalies, so somebody could say no, they haven't. But speaking in general terms, most men have probably done that. You know what I'm saying? Not with any malicious intent, because it probably happens a lot. Because there are cases that I've read about when guys have done that and they have given somebody an actual disease. So it happens. But a lot of times when I know that it's happened, men ain't trying to be malicious like that. But it is wrong. So it is what it is. That's wrong.
For the record, I'm 24. I've never done that shit.
That's what's up, man. That's cool. You're an anomaly. That's fine. You understand what I'm saying? You're one person.
I've never met another man who's admitted to that either. Like,
well, you probably won't meet another man admit after what just happened to Joe Budden.
Why would he? We don't.
What?
Nobody.
So wait, Rico, are you saying that this is normal, just typical behavior?
Growing up as a young man without a father when you're young, yes, yes, I believe, yeah. A lot of black men have done it. A lot of men have.
That is extremely terrifying.
Yeah. I'm not saying, but see the thing, the difference is, you think it's with malicious intent. There's a lot of, it's immature.
No, it doesn't even matter what the intent is. It's terrifying that you're saying that this is normal behavior. I don't think it's normal behavior. I don't think that, I don't know. People in the chat, let us know.
Because the average young guy isn't trying to get a girl pregnant. So why would he just take off the condom? Even that, from that perspective, it doesn't make sense.
You don't know why, really?
You don't yet. Come on.
You don't know that it feels better to go raw?
The young guy is more concerned with not getting the girl pregnant than feeling good.
So we know it's not to have a baby. So what I'm saying is we have our anomalies, but it's definitely more common than you think. I mean, Joe Budden said it.
Maybe it's like 5% of people doing it than the one I would think. But it's not like everyone's doing it like you're saying. Most guys are not doing that shit.
Come on now. The thing is, most women nowadays are not even asking you to put on condoms, so we're not even gonna do that. And
But we're not. We're talking about stealth. That's
bro,
different.
we can't have a conversation if I can't get a word out and then you can't get.
All right, sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but most people are not rushing to put on condoms nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So now, if a woman is like put on a condom and then you go act like you put on a condom, that is messed up. Like that's super messed up. But if you about to smash and then you act like you put on a condom and she didn't say nothing, like she didn't say put on a condom, but you act like you put on a condom, it's wrong. I don't think it will be sexual assault. I think that's just an immature dude that just don't know better. Like I'm in agreement that is wrong, but that comes from immaturity, especially if you're not doing it for malicious intent. Now you got some guys out there that are doing it and they trying to be the devil. You know what I'm saying? They either got some disease or they trying to trap a woman, and that's messed up. But a lot of times, well, I can't speak on a lot of times, but from what my point of view, what I'm speaking on is when men are doing it young and immaturely, it's not anything malicious. That's all.
But you want to know the reason why this is not, they're finding a difficult time trying to make this actually a law everywhere? It's
How is
because
something not malicious when you are literally lying about what you're going to do? It is malicious. You're not telling the truth. You're telling someone you're doing something else. That is malicious.
Right.
Immature people lie and do things like that because they don't know any better. I'm not saying it's not wrong, but it's not. You don't have any malicious intent. Like you're not going into it.
You do. You have the intention of tricking someone and like not telling them something that could potentially give them a disease or get them pregnant. That is malicious.
That's not what I'm speaking about, though. I myself totally avoided. I threw those situations to the side because we know that happens. I'm not speaking about that's wrong.
Well, all I'm speaking on is you saying that it's not malicious when it literally is. If someone lies to you, does something that they know could hurt you, and that's the reason they're lying about it. They know it could physically hurt you. They know that you can literally catch a disease that is incurable. They know that you can be pregnant and have a child. They know that all these things, and then they lie about it because they know that you're not going to be okay with that. That is malicious for sure.
But
that's all I'm speaking on.
I myself said that makes it malicious, though. When you giving somebody a disease or you're trying to trap somebody with a pregnancy, I said that. But I said immature men, when it's happening, some of the times they're not trying to be malicious with their intent. That's what I said. Now, if you know you have a disease and you just transmitting it, you're wrong. That's malicious intent. If you know she don't want to have babies or y'all not like that and you don't want to have a baby and you just want to get her pregnant for the hell of it, that's malicious intent. But if you're a young man and don't know any better and you just like, I'm not feeling it, it's no malicious intent. It's immature. You need to get a talk to by your uncles or something like that, but you don't need to be charged with sexual assault. You know what I'm saying? That's all I mean.
Oh, okay.
So here's
Perry. Oh, Bruiser, then Perry.
So what I was gonna say is the reason why I think it hasn't been a law enforced like widely across the states, of something you can actually go to jail for, is because why is it a crime? Is it only a crime because of STDs, or is it also a crime because you can actually get a woman pregnant that doesn't want to have a baby? So now you got to answer to that audience that's going to go and protest. Then if you do that, now, okay, what if she missed a pill on purpose or whatever? And now that I got a child, I'm forced to take a child. Can I sue her for the child support? Can I, waive all my rights? And you know what I'm saying? It's going to get to that. So like these people really, before they actually make this a law around here, they really got to think about all the ramifications that's going to follow. Because I mean, how many women are saying they on birth control or on pills or contraceptives? It's not really on it. And then you get tricked up, and then what the law is gonna say? We don't give a damn if you didn't want it or not. You shouldn't have been there. But she told me she. You get what I'm saying? So
because now I do not condone anyone lying about being on birth control or not. Like I think that's wrong. You absolutely should not lie about that to anyone. I think the difference between the two things though is that if someone's saying they're on birth control, you still have an option to say, I'm going to use a method of prophylaxis or whatever. I'm going to use some form of protection because I don't know if this person is on birth control or not. You still have that option. But if you say, in order for this to happen, we need to use protection, then the person lies and takes that option away from you, that's different. It is. I think that's definitely different. Just to answer your question. So yeah, if somebody says they're on birth control, didn't y'all see what Furious Styles said when y'all didn't see when Trey was telling him? Okay, never mind. Perry, nobody saw Boys in the Hood when they were having that conversation in the kitchen, and then he was like, "She told me she was on the pill," and he was like,
"Oh, okay, I remember." Yeah. I just forgot that was the dad's name. My bad.
I was just, I like to bring up some music and movie references.
So I'm glad you made that point, because then that just takes away the whole, okay, what if she get pregnant, or what if they get pregnant or whatever. So just erase that. But then it's about STDs, right? So if the reason why it would be a crime because you could possibly give somebody an STD, HIV, something life threatening, why would you be having sex with them, period, whenever you can catch HIV by just simply kissing each other, right?
No.
You can't get
no.
You can't get STDs by mouth.
No.
It takes like a gallon of saliva.
Yeah, you would literally have
to. I'm wrong.
Touch the air, like
people are typically.
So it takes a gallon of saliva to get monkeypox.
No.
What? Bruiser, now you're all over the place.
Hold on, isn't it
what
STD?
Bruiser, you mentioned.
No, I'm talking about HIV.
Bruiser, oh my goodness.
Okay, so what? Let's just make it STDs. Isn't it like isn't it written in California that STDs, right?
No, but Bruiser, what is
you can catch STDs by kissing? Yeah,
because all
you can get STDs by kissing, right
now.
Bruiser, wait, let's just recalibrate real quick. Let's go to Perry, and then we'll come back to you, Bruiser, because what in the world? About the HIV with the kids. No. Like Rico said, it would have to be an extenuating circumstance that is not likely to happen at all. So like the whole thing about HIV and kissing, like that's misinformation. Go ahead, Perry.
Well, first I'm gonna say hi. I was gonna talk about Danny Leigh because y'all's opinions on the other thing is just I forgot what I was even gonna say, but can y'all even hear me?
Do you agree with like me and Chimoge, or do you agree with Rico and Bruiser?
I agree with y'all. I don't even understand why we're having this conversation.
I don't either. I just wanted to see, because I'm like, I wonder what Perry thinks about that. But I know you want to talk about one of the other topics, so go ahead and weigh in on that. I was just checking to see, Perry.
The reason I don't want to talk about it is because, like, I mean, if you sleeping with a random, like, all of the unfairness and stuff go out the window. Like, you're sleeping with a random, you get what you get. But as far as Danny Leigh, I don't understand why she wouldn't want to do an interview with somebody being there that she didn't like, considering that her baby daddy didn't like her and told her to leave. Like, she kind of need all the attention that she can get. And as an artist that's trying to come out and trying to drop songs, you would want your latest drama to be with another woman, not a man who just got quote unquote blackballed, who is kind of irrelevant now. Like,
so you're saying that even if the interview made her uncomfortable, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, are you saying that even if the interview made her uncomfortable, or if she didn't want to be put into a situation where she may be asked questions that have nothing to do with her album and things like that, that she should go anyway so that she can get more publicity?
Yeah, like use that platform time to actually spin the narrative that you want to spin instead of just talking from behind Twitter. Cause see now she just looked like just another one. You know what I mean? Like another one of those like throwaway artists that we already really wasn't paying attention to her. But like y'all said, she got some cool songs though. And you could, she could be popping off of that. Like any other artist, especially females, they don't go on interviews and let you dictate what's being said. They lean to what they want to talk to. They have different ways. They would have compromised with her. You know what I mean? For you to just say no, I mean, now future investors they just like, oh well, shoot. Especially like Whack 100, he deals with drama heavily. Like he can't even sign you now because you're not trying to, ain't gonna do it.
Okay, so I could see that point of view from like a business standpoint. Like, look, just figure out a way to not answer those questions. Maybe I don't know, however you want to do that.
Cuss him out. Cuss him out. Yo, baby dad is he's known to be very violent. Like do something, get some attention if you gonna get it. But don't just you can't like I don't know what she trying to do. I don't know if she's trying to be the nice girl or is she trying to, but you got drama with people already, so handle it. You know what I mean?
She's probably, I mean, I don't know, but considering that both times we talked about her, it was only twice, but both times that we talked about her, it was about like things other than her music. I could see how she would be tired at this point of the questions and the talking about things that don't have to do with what she's really trying to do musically. I mean, I get that, but like I said earlier, I think that a conversation could have solved all of this. Maybe, let's just talk about what we can talk about, what we can't, and then if things are brought up that breach that agreement, then they can be handled, a different way. So
I like seeing who people are through their interviews. You know what I mean? Like I would rather see you be uncomfortable and see how you deal with that. And me seeing you uncomfortable doesn't bring me joy, but it's just like you might handle it in a way where I'll be like, you know what, Danny really cool. Like I'm gonna start investing in her. I'm gonna start focusing on her. But I'm just not seeing you at all. Like now I'm just like, well, are you dropping an album or not? You know what I'm saying? You still could have came up there and been like, well, I do got an album coming out, regardless of the drama. You know what I'm saying? I do got this coming out. Yeah, my baby dad did me like that, but you'll hear all about it on the album, just like Summer Walker did.
I get that. That's a really good I mean, I like that point of view because, and of course, anyone can choose to not do something that makes them uncomfortable. So,
Right.
that's your decision. But I like the point of view that you brought because it's true that in situations that can be uncomfortable, you get to see how a person can handle it with grace or, handle it in a way that isn't going to make them look bad, even though someone else might have been trying to make them look bad. So, I can see that point of view. Thank you, Perry. Stick around. We're going to make sure we get to True Table and God Will Spirit. What's up, True Table? I haven't seen you in a long time.
What's going on, Kay? I've been here. I just watching the background. But I can't speak to what you guys were talking about a moment ago. The Danny Leigh. I don't even know who that is, honestly. But what got me to jump on was what you guys were discussing moments ago. So I hope that's okay to touch on that.
Yeah.
In regards to this stealthing situation, I think it's very dangerous. Shamoge, I appreciated his points, but I think that it's very bleak because his experience may be very concentrated. I'm not excusing and saying that men shouldn't be, careful. I think, though, that sometimes when we have these situations, first of all, Joe Budden is a celebrity. All the things that are looked at through different eyes, mainly because these situations happen all the time. If you've ever been to college parties, and I was in the military, sex is happening between, the parties, male and female. There's no conversation. There's no NDA signed. There's no discussion on how it's going to happen. We're going to enter the room, go left, take 10 steps, lay down, dim up. No, that's not how it happens. So I think that there's so much weight being put on the fact that, oh, well, people aren't just doing this. Babies are born on a regular basis, and everybody that's having babies are not planning these babies. So I think that it's kind of dangerous to think that, slip-ups are not happening. I heard Bruiser say that, condom snap. Most young men, when they're not having sex anyway, don't even know how to put a condom on properly. So they need to stop playing this game like, oh, every single time sex is occurring, it is the exact same way with the exact same intent. And like my gentleman Rico was saying, I don't think men are carrying around evil intent with any sexual interaction they're having in most cases. So it's just kind of confusing on the energy that was being kind of spewed that, you know, that should just never occur. Women, and I can speak to personal experience, will request that you take your condom off when you are trying to be responsible. You're assuming that they're in a state of sobriety. You're assuming that they're in the right state of mind. And they're usually not. A lot of the times that these sexual interactions are happening, they're at heightened levels of emotion. Sometimes, like I said, that young lady is not necessarily completely sober. She may be inebriated to some degree. So you have to factor in all of this stuff. So to make it a crime and make it illegal, I think it will be very difficult to substantiate, because you would need video, you would need surveillance, you would need, you know, proof of DNA and all the things that you guys were talking about. I just don't get it. I don't see it.
Do you need all that for assault?
Yeah, you actually can claim assault, but they usually think the thing that they want from you is a police report. If you say someone assaulted you, they usually need something.
Report, but a police report you can file and see something happen. But like, I'm asking that rhetorically, just because if, like Chimoge, his point earlier was about this, like, there are plenty of crimes that are hard to prove. And sometimes, you know, it'll be thrown out. It'll be like, you know what, there's not enough evidence, so, you know, the person's not going to get in trouble. That's how it goes, though. But it still provides an opportunity so that if that person does have enough evidence, they can get justice. Whereas if it's not a crime at all, there's nothing that can be done. Even if the person has it on video, there's nothing they can do if it's not illegal. You see what I'm saying? That's where it becomes like
I think that's fair.
Slope, you
I
know?
think that's fair, but it still seems like the law, if it was created, I believe that it would be biased, because if you're going to offer protection, it needs to be protection on both sides. It seems to me, and I'm just assuming, that this law would favor more women than men, because we're the ones with condoms that are being placed on an external organism that is, you know, so
organism,
you know, so I'm just saying it doesn't seem like it's having protection on both ends. There are so many cases where men's condoms are being manipulated, you know, something.
And I think that should be a crime as well, if it's not already. Like, if you're poking holes or doing something like that, that should absolutely be a crime as well, if it's not already. I haven't looked into that, whether or not it is or isn't. But if anyone in the chat knows, let us know.
I had a case where I don't like to talk like this on here, but for the sake of this conversation, I will. I had a session with a woman, and she squeezed so hard on me, she actually pulled the condom off on me. So my question is, if this does become a law, now it's really now there's exploitation of, oh no, she pulled it off with her lips. Well, let's do a test and see how hard she can squeeze to validate that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how the fuck? There's no way.
But with
I'm just saying,
with like any crime in court, you have to prove intent. They're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like any crime in court, and just like if you say somebody came and punched me in the face, yeah, they're gonna. If it's not on video, that person is not going to jail. It's over with.
But
you know, you can't, or you got a mark, and it's like they gotta. You know what I'm saying?
A restraining order, probably.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna just take you to jail because this person said, this person punched me in the face. You know what I mean?
Also, I think another thing we have to consider is, just because this becomes illegal doesn't mean that everyone who gets accused would go to jail. And to be clear, I also need to make it clear, my position was, even though I think in an ideal world it should be illegal, I don't support the United States making it illegal just because our justice system is so messed up.
I'm glad you said that.
They're not good at handling anything. So I don't want more crimes on the books. Now, socially, we should police this behavior. And it's kind of crazy we even need to. But I guess we do, right? At least among some people, right? But in an ideal scenario, it definitely should be illegal. And then in that ideal scenario, just because someone gets accused doesn't mean they're automatically gonna get convicted. Like, if there is no evidence to substantiate the woman's claim, right, then there's a good chance the case will get thrown out. So, and really, that's like any other crime, because all this hypothetical scenarios y'all are bringing up, you can say about any crime, even murder, right? There's a lot of cases where murder is hard to prove. Just think of all the people who've been falsely convicted of murder. But does that mean murder should be legal now because
Right.
it's hard to like?
No,
Exactly.
no,
And
but
also,
that is so personal. It's trying to prove in a
murder
court
can be
all-
personal.
No,
What if
no,
it's
hold-
just you and the murderer?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what we were speaking about previously. It's so personal that trying to prove that in a court of law,
No.
that this man intentionally took
No,
his condom off.
that's what I'm saying.
It's equivalent to trying to prove that this woman intentionally did not take birth.
Okay, think of. I'll say this: this crime stealthing is less personal than a lot of murder cases, because in a lot of murder cases, only 2 people were present for the crime and 1 is dead.
I'm talking
You
about.
know what I mean?
I'm talking
So-
about as far as it's like a me on me thing. Like, you have to be able.
Murder can be on you too. Like any.
All your
You know
responses
what I'm saying?
too
Like,
extreme,
what if-
bro.
what if
Like, you gotta
someone-
be real. What's reality, bro?
Try-
You
try-
saying
I'm
what
talking
things
about
can be.
reality. The whole point I'm trying to make is all the stuff y'all are saying about stealthing, you can say about any crime. Any crime, a
cannot.
scenario could come up where not many witnesses are present. Any crime, a scenario could come up where there's not much physical evidence. Any crime, a scenario could come up where the law enforcement fucks up and someone gets falsely convicted. But does that
Absolutely.
mean it shouldn't be a crime? No, because then we live in anarchy.
Any
Exactly.
crime is not based on the same statutes as something as small as stealth, bro. Like, if you have an accident, I think this lady from California ran in her car into an intersection and killed like 6 people, even including a baby. This woman was intoxicated, man. If there was no cameras, you can tell that this woman was drunk driving by doing what do they call it? Not a breathalyzer. I mean, you can do a breathalyzer too.
What
but you
they did,
can
like some kind of talk
check
screen.
her
They
blood. You can check her blood too. Like, that's different
Well,
than
you can do
somebody
a rape,
pulling a condom off. You can't. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Say, oh, let's see if he whatever direction.
Yes,
he
you can
pulled-
check and see
Hold on, bro,
if his DNA is on her.
I don't be cutting you off. What are they gonna do? Is what are forensics scientists gonna do? They're gonna see what direction you pulled the condom off and see if there's any
They can see if
semen under
there's-
your fingernails,
They can see.
depending on what direct. Like, what the hell, or any scrape? Like, what?
Bro,
It just don't even make
you know
sense
how
on
sex
how to get
works.
any
You know how
tangible-
DNA can be left behind.
All right, go ahead, bro. You got.
I think Shimon,
I'm just saying, if a woman says she was stealthed, and then there is, again, I hope this doesn't hurt the stream of YouTube or whatever, but if there is semen in her vagina, for example, that would support her case.
No, it wouldn't. I'm sorry.
No, it
It would. No, here's the thing. No, because here's the
You better
thing.
not be a lawyer, dude.
Legally, it would not support her. Here's the reason why I would support her. Right? Here's the reason why I want to support her. Because if she's claiming stealth versus the R word, right? If she's claiming stealth versus the R word, then it's goes at the end of the day, it's he said, she said. That's what it comes down to. That's what Boots are trying to tell you.
God will. How does that not? You didn't substantiate what you just said.
No, okay.
You said at the end of the day, I'm saying
it depends what category she picks. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but we're talking about the stealth situation.
Okay, fine. Okay, stealth specifically, right? If just because there's semen does not mean that he actually did it. Meaning, like Boozer was saying, right? It could have been where the condom broke, and at the same time the condom broke, it was semen already inside the condom, or semen could have came out after the condom broke. Here's something that happened to me. I don't consider it stealthing, but technically it would be considered stealthing. I'm in the military, like True Taper was saying, right? You know, just having sex, right? So like back in the day, we having fun, get ready to have sex, whatever, cool. I'm laying on the bed. I'm literally getting ready to grab a condom. She hops on, no condom. So now technically she stealthed me. And if she got up and said, "Oh,"
and then you should be able to press charges if that's illegal.
Right? No, I agree with you, Kay. But here's the thing: if she turned around and said, "Oh, I stealthed her," and there's semen on her, does not make it true. It's he said, she said.
He just killed his.
And that's
Because
why
I have no proof. I have no proof that she hopped on me. Unless I'm supposed to have cameras in my room, which is illegal. Well, that's another illegal act. Filming somebody in some states is still illegal, right? Recording audio of someone is still illegal, right? In some states, right? So it goes back to he said, she said. It's not that black and white.
And just like Chimoge said, and just like I said, many court cases are he say, she say. Many things are illegal that it's one person's word against the others. That doesn't mean all those things should be legal now just because, well, there was no recording. I guess that's just going to be legal. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I agree with Kay. Here's the thing. I agree with what you're saying.
But then,
I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying it's not as simple as saying there's semen. That's the only thing I'm saying. It's not that simple, dude.
Well,
there's semen. It happened. That's not enough proof.
But God will spirit. The thing is, the same principle applies. That could be for anything. Well, it's not. You could say your earring was left at the crime scene, during a whatever. Well, earrings might just be there. Who knows? That's with any piece of evidence.
That's not the same thing.
That's a little different.
Listen. No. It's the thing is, evidence has to be examined. That's the point of the trial. You bring out all the evidence until you can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that whatever the person did, that they did whatever they're being accused of. That's how it goes for anything. Just saying like, well, that doesn't necessarily mean. You could say that for it could be drugs in somebody's car, and they can and people do say this. They say that doesn't necessarily mean they're mine. That is a thing that people say.
Okay,
you cannot just say that things shouldn't be illegal just because somebody might be able to say, well, there's not enough info here. That's conjecture. There's just happened to be these things in this place or this and that. That could happen for anything.
That's
and
true.
This is no different.
No, I agree. I agree. That's true. I was just saying what Shimiko was saying. He was just saying, "Oh, well, their sperm." He made it seem like you're automatically guilty of their sperm, and I was saying it's not that black and white.
He was not making it black and white. He was saying that this was a piece of evidence that he presented.
Yeah, and
just like he said, "Oh, well, you can ask her mom and ask her friends." What? Like people don't lie.
Exactly.
Let me ask you a question to all the other dudes on the panel. Do you guys think that rape should be illegal? Because everything y'all are saying about stealthing could be said about.
Bro, what are you talking about?
That's a crime. He never wants the crime as well.
Said about stealthing.
I don't know if we can
just
say
go
that
to the extreme with all of his points.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
my
just
bad.
noticed that. That's why I ain't even worried no more.
Everything that is said about stealthing could be said about that crime, right?
Well, I think
should that become legal now? Because all these things could happen.
I think you're having two different arguments, Shimoge.
You really are.
This is why I say that, because your point, you made it.
Because our word is not forced. Typically.
No, you made a comment moments ago that said that you wouldn't want to see anything further on the books when it comes to laws in America, but then you turn around and start arguing points of laws. So
no, because my point was that the American justice system is so corrupt that they are not equipped to dole out justice. So because of that, I don't want them to have any other excuse for people to get caught up in it, because this is a broken society. But in an ideal society, stealthing should absolutely be illegal.
So you're posing an environment that doesn't currently exist. I think that if you have a point, that you should make that point based on what actually exists.
No, the question was whether or not stealthing should be illegal. And my answer was yes, in an ideal society, which is possible to create, at least a better society. Let me say that, right? But in America, no, because I would like them to take there's a lot of things that should be done, but basically, because of the way the American criminal justice system is, I don't want them putting any more crimes on the book, because they're gonna end up using it for nefarious purposes. But with that being said, right, stealthing is absolutely something that in an ideal society should be illegal, and I outlined why.
Hey, can I ask you a quick question?
Let me answer him real quick. I think that stealthing wouldn't even be a thing from an idealistic society that you're stating, because people will be having sex. Hold on. People will be having sex consensually or under the confines of a relationship that was structured.
Well, let me not say ideal. Let me say a society with a
Why he cut you off?
with a reasonably good justice system. Let me say that. Like with a society with a much better justice system, like it could still have problems, but at least the justice system does justice most of the time and aims to
We
do
just talked
justice.
about stealthing.
All
No.
right, guys. This seems to be going nowhere. I think everyone
We were
has
getting
shared their
somewhere.
opinions. Let's since we're kind of starting to wind down, thanks everyone for sharing opinions, but the conversation was just kind of getting like, all right, we have differing
We were
opinions.
having a
And
good conversation.
I mean, it's not necessarily okay, but it's not okay. Some of these opinions, in my opinion, they're not okay. But we have different opinions, and it doesn't look like anyone's opinions are changing. So, like, let's just kind of move on from this.
I would change my opinion if anybody on this panel can tell me how can you regulate it as far as how can you protect both sides from being exploited?
So this has been answered multiple times from multiple angles. And even there have been examples about other crimes where evidence is presented. So you present the evidence.
What
the
other
other
crime was that one?
other person presents their own evidence, whatever it may be, their testimony, whatever, for why they did not do anything illegal. The other person presents their evidence about why the thing was wrong. Like that's how it goes, Bruiser. And then the court decides who had the better argument, or if it's going to get thrown out or whatever. Like that's just how it goes. Like we've answered this multiple times. That's the same thing you could say about any crime.
I didn't understand it, I guess.
That could be said about any crime where there's not video and like hard like DNA evidence that connects you to a crime scene, which Chimoge even brought up as it related to the DNA evidence. So, I mean, this whole thing, you present all the evidence you have, your lawyer does or whatever, and that's all y'all can do.
So scratch that. So why do you guys personally think that it's not a law in all 50 states? Legal in all 50 states?
I think that the reason it wasn't illegal is because one, when you look at, and this is kind of complicated, but to make it quick, when you look at the history of laws related to personal bodily injury in the West, in the past, these crimes used to be prosecuted on a more collective level. So essentially, because it was a patriarchal society, right, the father was seen as the representative of the family. So if you committed a crime like this, historically, you'd essentially have to make amends to the father, which was a way of making amends to the family, and the woman would be included in that just because it was collective. But then so because of that, in that scenario, you didn't necessarily have individual laws that criminalize things in the way we did today, just because they were handled differently, right? But then as society got much more and more individualistic, then you start to have these specific crimes. For example, marital R, right, got made illegal in about the 70s in most places. That was part of the reason for that. And also part of that was changing ideas about gender, right? So some of that happened. So that's part of it, right? But then the other thing is, I think this is just such a weird thing, honestly, that I think most people, it never even occurred to them that people were doing this. Like this is like making a law telling someone that, that they shouldn't sit on a porcupine, right? I think it's just something you would think you wouldn't even need to tell someone. But then, I think people in some ways are getting weirder. So then this just, then all of a sudden you start becoming aware that people are doing things like this. And then now that's why you start seeing the law. I hope that makes sense.
Then you start in the 1400s, got to 1970s, where married men couldn't be with their wives. Look, the reason why it's not a law is, like I said, it's hard to prove. It's simply he said. When it comes to the R word, typically not all the time, but typically it's a forced act. So there's more of hard evidence in terms of like struggle, fight, scratches, things of that nature, right? When it comes to the R word.
KAY,
But when
no,
it comes to stealthing,
KYLA.
when it comes to
Wait,
stealthing, it's again, like I said, it could be a situation with me, it could be a situation like Joe Budden said, whatever case may be, it's he said, she said. And to have enough evidence to prove it's gonna be a tough out. That's why even in California, why they made it a law, they only made it a civil law. They didn't make it a criminal law. They made it a civil law.
Okay. All right. Thanks everyone for sharing your opinions on this. A real quick question before we start to wrap up and, move on into, somewhere that's not on screen. Did anyone see that jacket that like Kanye West had on with, I think he was with Candace Owens or something, and it said "White Lives Matter" on the back?
I saw okay.
I saw some people sharing that. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Wait, was this recent? He had that on?
Yeah, just saw it shared like today.
Well, one, I think, because obviously white lives do matter, but like given the context we live in, aggressively making that point just reinforces white supremacy. So it's stupid to do that. It's really stupid for Kanye to do that as a black man, and I think it just shows how Kanye is confused. Really, I think Kanye is an example of a man who would be great if he'd stop messing with the wrong women. Because again, I'm not gonna say an interracial relationship.
He is great. He's a billionaire. What the fuck?
That doesn't mean you're good, right? But I'm not gonna say that an interracial relationship is bad in literally every single case. But when it comes to black people, we have to admit in most cases it is. And especially because he picked the Kardashians, I think that really just messed him up. Because to be clear, he had problems before that, which is why he even went there. But I think once that happened, and especially after his mom passed away and he broke up with his black girlfriend, fiance, I think he just went off the rails, and quite frankly, he's just a waste of potential. So, this is just an example of that.
I wouldn't call him a waste of potential because he is like, he's a musical genius. Like
but he hasn't put out music up to his previous level in at least, it's been a decade now. Because I think the last project from him that I would say is kind of at his best, the best he'd shown is Cruel Summer, right, which was 10 years ago. And then also, I'm a person who believes, and again, this is getting into some larger stuff, but I think we live in an era, and we have been actually for a long time, like probably thousands of years, where most human beings don't reach their full potential. And I think Kanye was a symptom of that, because he's probably in some ways done better than most people. But when I think about what he could have done with his talent, I think he's gone nowhere close, honestly, especially if you're looking over the whole course of his life and in all spheres.
What makes you think that? Because I think that's an interesting point of view. I've heard people say certain things about like, if they only did this, they would reach their full potential. Like, how does anyone know? Like, what makes you? How do you know what his? Maybe this is it. How do you know?
Well, what I would say is that part of where I'm coming from is looking at if any of you know about Igbo culture, right? And this is true of a lot of other African cultures as well. They have a view of history called the 4 world ages, and there are 4 different ages of the universe. But long story short, the one we're in now is like the age of wickedness. So then in this age, people don't reach their full potential. So that's part of where I'm coming from. But where else I'm coming from is when I look at everything he wants to do, both with music and politics, especially because he has big political ambitions, right? We saw him run for president. We saw the last Drink Champs interview he did, all the political stuff he was talking about. He was actually putting people onto a lot of good knowledge. But then I look at that and I say, okay, if you really know all this about how white supremacy is alive, am I not allowed to say that? Sorry. About how mayonnaise is alive, right? And how it's messing everything up, right? Then why are you doing things that you're doing by, for example, dating, all these women who are invested in that? Why are you doing what you're doing by supporting Donald Trump? Why are you, you're doing all these things that go against that, and you're moving in such a way that does not achieve that objective of black liberation you're talking about, right? Because I could sit down here and break down, okay, if you want to achieve black liberation, here's what you would do. And it looks nothing like what Kanye West is doing. And then if you also look at the content of the music he's putting out, I could outline 1,000 ways it could be better. Even some of his best stuff I could think of is great, but I think of how he could progress beyond that. Like, for example, why didn't he make an album putting people onto in detail the wickedness of the American financial system, for example? Why didn't he make an album that talked about in detail, how labor in developing countries gets exploited? He didn't do that, but then
You think he's gonna be a billionaire if you do that?
The thing is,
no, that's another thing. Because why do
Okay,
you
then that's
put
the
yourself
answer.
into a position where you no, but being a billionaire, that's another thing. If you're enlightened, right, you know that being a billionaire under this system is not a good thing. Because to even get to that point, because first of all, being a billionaire, unless you're a cash money billionaire, it's subjective, right? Because hear me out, right? Because they look at the cash you have, but then they also look at the valuation of your non-cash assets. But the valuation of your non-cash assets is completely subjective, right? Some random Caucasian person could come here and say, all right, Kanye, your house is worth $2 million, for example. But to me, his house isn't worth anything because I would never pay to live there because I don't want to live in his house. You see what I mean? So it's subjective, right? So when they give someone billionaire status, that is actually just them designating, that's rewarding people who are doing what they want to do. They say, okay, you're on our agenda. You're doing what we want you to do. You're advancing our objective. We'll reward you by saying you're a billionaire. That's why he's even getting into all those arguments about them undervaluing his wealth. Because basically, because Kanye had been a little too controversial for them, they weren't giving him the same valuations they were giving to other people with similar possessions, right? So we could go really deep into this, but I'm just all that just to say, right? If you really want to pursue black liberation, you're not even going to become a billionaire because to do that, right, you need to compromise that mission, right? So I'm just looking at Kanye like, why do you do that? Why are you producing all your clothes in a partnership with like Nike and Adidas where they're exploiting all this labor in developing countries, right? That's slave labor. Why are you doing that if you're trying to save the world, right? Why are you even working with them at all? Why don't you just have your completely self-owned clothing company? And of course, you won't have as wide of a reach, but you can make enough to support yourself and you control it, right? So again, I could go on and on about this, but I'm just saying when I look at Kanye West and all these things he's doing wrong, and then in addition to his personal life, because I'm a person that believes that your personal life is just as important as your wider political life. And I look at the chaos he's causing in his family, because first of all, the woman he chose to marry, completely wrong choice for a black man. But then also the way he's handled the breakup, going out publicly, airing out the dirty laundry, harassing his ex-wife, harassing the boyfriend,
I think that sometimes we as non-celebrities look at celebrities as like superhuman people. They are human beings just like us. So they have ups and downs. They have moments where they don't make the best decision. They have moments when they do make really great decisions. Like they're humans. It's just that they have a lot more money and a lot more influence and reach, and even with that comes a level of problems. So I don't know. I just think sometimes when we speak on what certain people should be doing, unless it's something obvious, like don't abuse somebody or, something like that, unless it's something obvious, I think it's really hard to speak on certain things because all of us up here, like, we can try to imagine, but we can't even like fathom what it's like to be Kanye West. That amount of just attention on you all the time. You can't even walk out of your house. You can't do anything. Like it comes with a lot of rewards, but it also comes with a lot of other things that I'm sure, and I've even heard different celebrities say, like, oh my goodness, like this is tiring. There's a lot going on. Whereas people who, I cannot with you in this spoon, Chimoge.
I'm sorry.
How long are you going to be eating this meal for? I feel like you have been eating for the last.
Yeah, I'm notorious for taking a long time to eat. Sorry.
No, I'm just kidding because I heard the spoon and I was like, there's that spoon again. But no, I just think that we have to just consider that these celebrities are operating in a whole different field than we are, even though they're still human, you know? So they're not like the X-Men or something. They're human beings.
No,
but they're just, you know, at a different level than us. And by level, I don't mean like character-wise or anything like that. I'm saying that they have access to spaces that we could never even breathe the air in. Like we there's no way for us to be there right now. So just looking at that, I don't know. I think we have to just remember that when we're saying like so-and-so could be better.
No.
That would be like somebody coming up to you and saying, Chimoge, you could be this. Why aren't you?
Well, I would agree.
Things that go into why you're not, I don't know, whoever at this point in life. Just like there are for any celebrity.
Well, Kay, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. Like, I think that sometimes, I'm not saying that like, you know, Kanye West by himself should save the whole world. And I'm not saying there aren't extenuating circumstances he's dealing with. Of course they are. I'm just saying, even in spite of that, there are things he could do a lot differently to get better. And I say that, and to be clear, the standard I'm holding Kanye West to, I hold everyone to that standard, even myself. The way I sat here and told you 1,000 things Kanye West could do better, I could sit here and tell you 1,000 things I could do better. I don't think I'm anywhere near my potential, right? That's one thing I'm frustrated with myself about. So, you know, I know my position is a lot harsher than most people, but, you know, that's just how I look at it. And, you know, again, this is not to say that, like, you know, Kanye West has never done anything valuable or anything like that, right? And that we shouldn't have some empathy for him, because you should have empathy for everyone, right? But you can have empathy for someone and still say that, you know, they could be doing better. So.
And, you know, as we were talking about this, and Chimoge, you went into a lot of different topics regarding Kanye and just, I guess, celebrity in general. I almost forgot the original question, but it was about the White Lives jacket or whatever. I think that it was a publicity thing. Like, you know, we're talking about it right now. That was the point, right? For people to see this and be like, oh my goodness, and all that. Like, I've noticed even on like TikTok, just scrolling through, I've been seeing more like I never used to see Kanye West, but now he's like being pushed into my algorithm. So like, I just feel like, you know, these things always kind of start happening at the same time. So yeah, I think it's a publicity thing. Like, I'm not.
Why does he hold a spoon like that?
I don't feel any kind of way about the jacket, but
because you how to hold a spoon, dude.
Is this weird? What's wrong with this?
Because I agree with what Chimoge was saying earlier about just
you
like.
Don't have a girlfriend, do you?
No, I'm single. But what ladies don't like?
Chimoge was saying earlier about about the whole jacket situation, and you know, that being something that would be promoting like a white supremacist type of view, kind of like what we talked about earlier with if somebody says black power versus somebody saying white power, like those are two different things. But again, I think this is a publicity thing, and I don't really have.
You know, another thing I just thought of also.
Wait, hold on, Chimoge. Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Because, all right. So, let's go to True Table, then God Will Spirit about the jacket. Do you think it's publicity, or do you think that this is something else?
I think it's publicity. Kanye, he's a marketing genius. He knows what he's doing. So I definitely think it's publicity. I didn't see the jacket. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. Yeah, Chimoge said some stuff. I'm like, wow.
So, and you know what? That is a conversation that could be had, but I don't think like right now is the time.
Of course. course, of course.
Yeah. Because Chimoge, you had a lot to say, and but yeah, I don't think right now, especially, it's getting late.
I agree.
So, God will, what are your thoughts on that jacket?
I think it's publicity, but I also think it's more so intentional in terms of he has bigger plans. Because how many times have we heard Kanye say he plans on running for president? So maybe it's just a ploy move to run for president. I mean, you got Ken Owens there, right? And I have no problem with Ken Owens, honestly. I know most Black people probably do, but I don't. But I have some issues with some things he said, but not everything, right? Because I give everybody grace. But no, but I think it's more publicity stunt and, like I said, more intentional. We got and it's October. We got the primaries coming up in November. So, depending on how the primaries end out, me personally, I think the Republicans are going to take back the Senate or the House. So I think he's just playing into it. So, but.
All right. So, Bruiser, what are your thoughts on? Did you already answer this? What are your thoughts on that?
I didn't answer, but I think it was all publicity as well. I mean, the only reason why I can't give you the in-depth answers I usually give is because I'm just now finding out this by seeing a thumbnail pop up on YouTube. I think somebody else is doing a show about it right now, but that goes to show you I don't pay attention to the news as much. Well, not that kind of news.
Yeah, that's not really. I just saw it scrolling through the Facebook group, the Lapeef group.
Woke news is just. I got tired of woke news around COVID. I call it woke news. I try to stay away from it. It doesn't benefit me. It just makes me even more angry. So I just try to focus on my life and how to better myself. But as far as these shirts, I really think I really can't really give you a in-depth answer because I don't want to cast judgment and be inaccurate with my points. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to maintain some type of character on these platforms. So I'm a bag off for that right now. Maybe later, another day, I'll be able to give you some in-depth thoughts on it.
Okay. So let's go around and get final thoughts as we close out. Let's start with True Table.
Good show overall. I'm always in the background, so don't worry.
Thank you.
Definitely appreciate you letting me come up. Thank you so much. Chimoge, you got a broad perspective, my brother. I have just so much to ask you, but another time. Thank you guys. Have a good evening. Be blessed.
Thank you. Same to you. Chimoge.
Yeah, so great show again. Thanks for having me on again. I think the last thing I just wanted to say, because obviously most of what we talked about was the stealthing thing, but the thing I wanted to get across with that is that I think just I guess speaking to other men, I don't think we should feel like we have to defend everything that some other man did online, right? Because I think that just feeds into this whole gender war thing, and then it also makes us look silly, and then it just promotes a lot of dumb combos. There's some things we should just look at another man did. We should go, wow, that's stupid, and we should just move on. So yeah, that's the main point I wanted to leave everyone with. But thanks again for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. See you next week. God will spirit. Final thought.
Great show. I enjoyed it, everyone. Boozer Roll Tide. I wish I could hear from Kayla more, but I'm sure she's busy working hard. So Kayla, I always enjoy you as well.
Thank you.
No, but that's basically all I have to say. I enjoyed everyone's perspective, and can't wait till next week.
Was you in the Army?
No, I'm in the Air Force.
Air Force. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the DMV. Thank you. I'm in the DMV.
I was in the Army. I was in Fort Eustis, Virginia. I lived in the DMV for about 10 years, though. I was in Woodbridge.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Well, I'm in Dumfries right now. I've been out here since 2019. I just found out.
I'm Monaco or Belvoir or what?
When I got here, I was at the Defense Intelligence Agency. I'm at the Pentagon now. But come December, their PC has to enter Fort Belvoir. So
okay, well, that's a shorter drive.
Right. Right. So now I'm hopping all over the place. I just hit 15 years this past August. So 5 to go.
Yeah, make sure you get drop your IG, man, in the chat, man. If you're gonna you gonna do the whole 20?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay, cool. I heard they changed the retirement thing. I think you might be grandfathered in though.
No, I'm grandfathered in. I didn't sign up for it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they ain't gonna get me.
Oh, look at y'all like forming this connection. That's nice.
Yeah.
Make sure you put your IG back there so Bruiser can contact you to talk about military.
I just put it back there. Yeah, I just put it back there.
Okay.
Y'all have a blessed night.
Thanks. You do the same.
All right. You're welcome. Bye.
Okay. So, Bruiser.
Yeah. I guess I'll make a lasting comment. My comment is just ladies specifically, because I know some ladies probably, as you can see, there's guys out here that's pulling the condoms off on them and stuff. So I would just say, just to prevent all that bullshit from happening to you, just make sure that you're with the person that you want to have a family with. And, you know what I'm saying? You want to take serious enough to get into marriage. And if you're having sex, have sex with somebody you're willing to have a child with. And this condom thing probably won't be that much of an issue. But I mean, I know that's not reality, but I'm still going to try to preach the right thing to do. I had a conversation last Tuesday. It kind of got heated about, women being more promiscuous. And I was just trying to wrap my fingers around the reason why. And I started understanding that I think it's mainly because of all of the contraceptions that came out, and women not reaping the benefit of actually waiting for marriage to have sex. They can just have sex all they want and no consequence. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was just trying to state the fact that, and I think I had a conversation with y'all too. Like, just having sex just recklessly devalues you, in a way. But
so on that note, everyone be careful out there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone be safe out there. Everyone be as discerning as you can out there. And consent is key. So make sure everyone knows what's going on with that situation. But yeah, thanks y'all for watching. And we will see you all next week. Have a good night.
Oh, see y'all next Tuesday at 8:30. Groomsman show, baby.